The Animal Crossing fan base is incredibly large, incredibly vibrant, and despite all of that, haven't been given a full mainline game for over half a decade. With that said, it's no secret that Animal Crossing New Horizons is one of the most important games for the Nintendo Switch library. Some people, no doubt, have been keeping up with any and all news to come out about this game, but today I'm here to fill in the people that are curious to learn what they're in store for when this game makes its way to Nintendo Switch on March 20th, 2020. Let's talk about it. Animal Crossing New Horizons is a life simulation game being developed by Nintendo EPD Production Group Number 5, the development group that's perhaps better known by fans as the same team behind Wii Sports, Splatoon, and of course, the rest of the Animal Crossing series. The most important thing to establish here is the deserted island theme, which the producer and director of New Horizons have stated was selected to provide players with an increased level of customizability when compared to past games, as they were all set in pre-established towns and villages. In New Horizons, the aim is to allow the player to have a hand in establishing a new town from the ground up, and not just putting your personal touch on a town that was founded before you lived there. When beginning the game, if the player's Nintendo Switch is in the southern hemisphere, in-game seasons will reflect, and the same can be said for the northern hemisphere, obviously. And on the topic of this island, it's important to note that despite this island being mostly deserted when the game starts, Tom Nook is still very much involved and will be the one to sell you the deserted Island Getaway Package that includes your Nook phone, which, side note, also seems to be customizable on some level, and it's the gateway to other key features within the game, like the camera, because not having a photo mode equivalent in a game like this would be some sort of crime, a map of your island, the option to call an islander to host a local play session with another person, Nook Miles, a new reward system that affords points to players for traveling and participating in activities around their island, as well as completing objectives and stamp cards. For instance, a new system in New Horizons is the crafting system, which is now necessary since all tools degrade with use instead of just the axes from the past AC games. Everybody's favorite part of Breath of the Wild. Slight tangent, and legitimately is one of my favorite things in the game, but I digress. It's worth noting that unlike Breath of the Wild though, not only will you be able to craft lower level items relatively easy with a few tree branches, you will likely be able to eventually craft unbreakable tools, probably golden tools if the older Animal Crossing games are any indication. Nook Miles are given for crafting these new tools, so it's a win-win if you ask me. DIY tools are also useful for gifts, as you can give them to villagers, and many of them will return the favor by gifting you new DIY recipes in addition to improving your relationship with them like gifting any other item would. You'll also get rewarded with Nook Miles for doing things like pulling weeds and selling items, so they're practically giving them away for playing the game normally. Or more accurately, they're rewards for completing quests similar to the way the town initiatives worked in the Welcome Amiibo update for New Leaf. My takeaway for this new feature is that it seems to be a de facto achievement system for New Horizons, which in my mind says one of two things will be the case for the majority of players. The Nook Miles could be a great inclusion or a terrible one depending on how you like to play the games. If you enjoy farming easy bells, the Nook Miles may be a hindrance to you since they're awarded for performing specific tasks. If you enjoy playing Animal Crossing relatively slowly and steadily, Nook Miles may be one of your favorite new inclusions, as they provide incentive for doing things that you were likely going to do anyway, but previously only had superficial benefits for, like picking weeds. As far as what you'll be able to do with these Nook Miles, as I said, they are a secondary currency, and as such, you'll be able to buy items, DIY recipes, and other services with them. To date, the only confirmed purchasable item with Nook Miles that I can find is a Nook Inc outfit. And those DIY recipes aren't only unlocked in the ways I mentioned so far. Some seem to be rather passively unlocked just by finding ingredients from certain recipes like fishing bait. The second component of the Nook Inc Getaway Package is the tent you will live in when you first arrive on the island. Once you have this tent, you'll be able to not only customize its interior like you could in past Animal Crossing games, the level of control you'll have over that customization has been effectively doubled since you can place and move items in half-tile increments, a feature that was introduced in Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. More importantly, in my opinion, we'll now be able to place furniture items on the outside of our tents. Ever wanted to sleep outside in your Animal Crossing game. I don't know why you would want to do something like that, but now you can, and being afforded that option is pretty cool, even if I'm not crazy enough to do it myself. Animal Crossing New Leaf took a few baby steps toward allowing the ability to put your mark on the outside world with town ordinances, but unfortunately those were pretty limiting in terms of truly making the town your own. These projects couldn't be too close to other projects, rivers, buildings, bushes, or trees, regardless of the actual size of the project relative to the things around it. That seems to be less of an issue with New Horizons, as there's been multiple examples shown of outdoor decorations that were placed without these restrictions. There haven't been very many larger scaled projects shown to my knowledge at the time of recording this video, but I'd imagine that increased freedom will continue to influence outdoor decorations and projects. And to continue on the topic of island customization, we'll be able to pave roads with clay made from rocks in the environment, as well as a special tool for digging dirt paths into the grass. Also, another new change that partly gave me Breath of the Wild vibes is that eating fruit seems to give your villager the stamina needed to completely uproot and replant trees. I'd imagine this stamina system would apply to more things, but so far this was the only use case that I've spotted so far. The theme of increased freedom afforded to players in New Horizons seems to not only relate to the island itself either, it also holds true with the player character themselves. We will now have a larger inventory for items, and that's not only limited to the amount of slots in the inventory being increased to 20, but also those slots can be freed up more by stacking like items together, which could be done with fruit in New Leaf, but now more items will automatically be grouped together in your inventory. Aside from that, items can now be favorited in your inventory as well, which will automatically push them to the front of the menu. Something small, but quality of life improvements like this add up to make new entries in a long-running franchise feel fresh. For the first time in a mainline Animal Crossing game, you will be able to fully customize your villager. Finally, players will be able to change their skin tone without the stupid tanning system. And the hair and facial feature options are neutral, so that'll mean a lot more options for everyone when it comes to customizing villagers, and thereby further distinguishing them from other people's villagers. And that's especially useful since there will be new improvements made to the multiplayer in Animal Crossing New Horizons as well. As I mentioned when I talked about the Nook phone, it's now possible to play locally on one Switch with up to 3 other players. Alternatively, you'll be able to connect to up to 7 other players using online or local wireless play, which is twice as many players that were possible in the past. It's important to note that for players that share a Nintendo Switch with other family members or something, you can only have 1 island per console that will be shared amongst all of the villagers that are saved to that Switch. On the note of villagers, there have been improvements made to how the NPCs work as well. New villagers will now have to start their island lives with tents just like player characters do, instead of being able to start with a house. And you'll have increased control over where their homes will be on your island, as they will check in with you before they move in to see if their chosen lot is okay. Also, there's been a notable change to their designs as well, being that their outfits are now more elaborate than simple t-shirts. And speaking of changes, Mr. Rossetti has been forced to change his career choice since autosaves being added to Animal Crossing New Horizons makes his job obsolete. Unfortunately though, this new ability to autosave comes with the news that cloud saves won't be supported in Animal Crossing New Horizons, joining the list of Nintendo first-party games that don't support the feature, and the reason cited is it being an anti-cheat measure. For a game that's over 3 months away, we know quite a bit about Animal Crossing New Horizons, and if you're a huge Animal Crossing fan, we know even more small tidbits that I didn't mention here pertaining to returning villagers, item types, and things like that, but those things aren't really a big enough deal to include here for newer players. As far as unanswered questions I'd like to see addressed in the coming weeks leading up to its release, I want to know how sharing islands with other players will work online and with wireless local play. If they nail that feature, you can bet I'll be getting a lot of mileage out of that. But other than that, I think we know plenty to be excited for this game as Animal Crossing fans. I think the excitement of newer players will likely hinge on the answer to that multiplayer question. The biggest draw to Animal Crossing is its communal nature, so if that pans out well, it should be easy for existing fans to win over friends. And that's everything we know about Animal Crossing New Horizons. What do you think about this game so far? Did this video teach you anything you didn't know already? Maybe even make you more excited for it? Let me know that and more in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click the the like button and share it with a friend that you think might find it useful or find it enjoyable as well. Most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for more videos like this every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And new podcasts every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, different channel, linked in this card. Okay, that's it for me. See you next week. Also, happy holidays.